Hello, hello, hello. Come on in, relax, take a breath. Welcome to Lady Selah. I'm your host, Angela Thomas. You might want to grab your coffee, tea, or favorite refresher because today's conversation is going to be good. Today I want to sit and talk about something deeply personal: heartbreak, divorce, and what happens when the future you imagine suddenly changes. And I'm not speaking from theory. I'm speaking as someone who has walked through heartbreak. I've known what it felt like to love deeply and still watch it end. I've known the disappointment, the unanswered questions, the tears that nobody else sees, and the uncertainty of what comes next. But in the middle of it all, I discovered something powerful, that God's grace was able to carry me through what I thought would break me. Sometimes when people talk about divorce, they want to know who was right and who was wrong. But today's conversation is not about blame. Today is about my brother or my sis who sat on the edge of the bed, wondering how life changed so quickly. It's about the person who buried dreams they thought would last forever. Heartbreak has a way of making us question everything, y'all. It makes us question our value, question our judgment, our future, and sometimes even our faith. And so, if you're listening today and your heart is carrying the weight of a goodbye, this episode is for you. I want you to know that I understand and that you are not alone. So let's go. Let's dive in. One of the hardest things about heartbreak is that people expect you to get over it. But healing isn't a race. You don't heal because enough time has passed. You heal because little by little God meets you in the middle of your pain. There was a season when I didn't want advice or opinions. I didn't want another holy conversation. And if I'm being completely honest, I didn't want anyone praying me out of a decision I had agonized over for years. People saw the decision and the gossip started. But they didn't see the years of people praying, or rather me praying, hoping, crying, and trying to hold things together. By the time I made my decision, it wasn't sudden. It was one prayer at a time, one tear at a time, one sleepless night at a time. I was simply trying to survive. So I became quiet. Not because I lost my faith, but because I needed space from the noise. I wasn't running from God. I was running from the people's opinion, the assumptions, the judgments, the well-meaning people who thought they understood a story they had never experienced. You know what nobody talks about, though? Nobody talks about how lonely it feels, not just after the divorce, but before it. The kind of loneliness where you're carrying something heavy for years and don't even know who to talk to about it. The loneliness of feeling like it's only you going through. The feeling of being unattractive, less than, angry, sad, hurt, that I got played like a violin just stringing me along. The loneliness of trying, hoping things will change. The loneliness of praying the same prayer over and over again. Smiling in public while your heart is breaking in private. You're like a tree standing through every season, weathering the storms, losing leaves, waiting for something to grow again while no one notices how much you have endured. And before I knew it, what once broke me had no longer defined me. And then the goodbye happened. The pain was real, y'all. The grief was real. The tears were real. The loneliness was real. But God's grace was real too. God's grace was greater. He restored places that I thought would remain broken forever. While the season of my life felt long, as a strong faith believer that I am, I knew that heartbreak would not have the final say. If no one has told you lately, my brother, my sister, your life is not over, I can tell you today that there is life on the other side of goodbye. Not because someone told me, but because I've lived it. There is healing on the other side of heartbreak. Your purpose is not over. And your capacity to love again, whether it's people, whether it's life, or even yourself, is not over. And there is still a future waiting just for you. You are beautiful, fearfully and wonderfully made, and created with purpose. So until next time, take a moment, breathe deeply, and trust God with the pieces. There is healing after heartbreak. Selah. If this episode encouraged, blessed, or resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who may need to hear that God's love meets them exactly where they are. Let's grow together in faith, encouragement, and practical wisdom. Meet me here next week, same place, same grace. But until next time, stay rooted, stay grounded. Most of all, stay connected to God. Selah.